Have you ever felt like you're giving too much of yourself to people who don't even notice? Like you're constantly explaining, defending, or proving something, just to be misunderstood or ignored? We live in a world that rewards loudness, self-promotion, and non-stop validation seeking. But the truth is, some of the most powerful transformations happen in silence. Growth doesn't always make noise, progress doesn't always seek applause, and peace, it rarely announces its presence. This video is not about isolation, it's about elevation. It's about learning to focus deeply on your own path, your own healing, your own discipline, without feeling the need to broadcast it to the world. Because the truth is, but not everyone deserves a front row seat to your transformation. Silence isn't an absence, it's a strategy. In silence, you become your own sanctuary. In silence, you sharpen your vision, protect your energy, and rebuild your strength. And in a world that's constantly trying to distract and drain you, learning to focus on yourself is one of the greatest acts of self-respect. So in today's video, we're going to explore 4 powerful chapters that will show you how mastering silence and self-focus can transform your life as a man, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. We'll look at real-life examples, draw from ancient Asian wisdom, and give you strong, clear advice that you can apply starting today. If you're tired of noise, tired of begging for attention, tired of being drained, it's time to turn inward and rise from within. Your growth doesn't need an audience. It needs your attention. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And drop a comment below letting us know which part of this video hits you the hardest. Chapter 1. The power of withdrawing without explaining. There comes a moment in every man's life when he realizes not everyone deserves access to him. The more you grow, the more you'll feel a deep urge to step back from certain people, certain environments, and even certain habits. And when you do, the world will expect an explanation. But here's the truth. You don't owe anyone a reason for choosing peace over chaos. Think about this. When a lion walks away from a pack of barking dogs, it doesn't pause to explain itself. It walks in silence, knowing it answers to a higher calling. This is the mindset you must adopt as a man who is serious about self-growth. The moment you start focusing on yourself, detaching from drama, cutting off shallow conversations, and protecting your energy, people will say, "You've changed, let them." Because what they really mean is, you're no longer available for their dysfunction. You're no longer predictable. You're no longer easy to control. Silence, in this context, is not weakness. It's emotional maturity. A wise man once said, "When you know yourself, you don't need to prove anything to anyone." This is the essence of true power, not performance, not noise, but presence. Imagine 2 men start a business. One spends hours showing off on social media, talking about his goals, flexing fake success, seeking validation. The other stays low-key. He works, learns, builds, and stays quiet. 2 years later, the silent one owns 3 businesses. The loud one, he's still talking. Why? Because energy spent explaining is energy taken away from building. Every time you waste time proving yourself to people who don't value you, you weaken your progress. In Asian philosophy, particularly in the teachings of Lao Tzu, there's a deep respect for stillness and restraint. Lao Tzu once said, "He who knows does not speak. He who speaks does not know." This doesn't mean never speak. It means stop explaining your vision to people whose minds are too small to understand it. Protect your silence like a sword, because your silence holds more value than empty words. Your discipline will shock them, your glow-up will confuse them, and your peace? That will disturb those who benefited from your chaos. You need to stop being afraid of what people will think if you pull away. You're not selfish, you're sacred. You're not arrogant, you're aware. You're not cold, you're focused. And most of all, you're not obligated to carry people who would never lift a finger for your healing. Focusing on yourself means becoming the man you were too distracted to be before. It's waking up early when no one's watching. It's working out not for aesthetics, but for discipline. It's journaling, meditating, praying, quiet acts of revolution that no one claps for, but all successful men do. And when the temptation to over-explain creeps in, remember this quote: "Never wrestle with pigs. You both get dirty, and the pig likes it." Let your silence be your response. Let your growth be your statement. Let your future do all the talking. So what do you do next? You fall back, not to disappear, but to rise in clarity. You don't chase closure. You give it to yourself. You don't seek validation. You build it from your own rituals. You let your silence become your strategy. And when they finally notice, when they finally realize they can't access you like before, don't explain, don't justify, just keep growing. Focus on yourself and stay silent, because in the silence, your soul strengthens. In the solitude, your purpose sharpens. And in that space, you become dangerous, not to others, but to the old version of yourself. Drop a comment below. My silence is my strength. If you're ready to elevate without explaining, we want to hear it. Chapter 2. Your energy is currency. Spend it wisely. Every time you speak, you spend energy. Every time you explain, justify, argue, or try to be understood by people who don't truly care, you're spending the most valuable resource you have, your presence. The modern world has tricked men into thinking they have to be everywhere, talk constantly, and stay connected to everything. But the truth is this: you don't need more conversations. You need more clarity. Clarity comes from withdrawing, reflecting, and directing your energy back to your goals. Imagine your energy as currency. Would you hand over your wallet to people who mock your dreams, drain your spirit, or belittle your ambition? Of course not. But when you argue with people who don't respect you, when you chase those who ghost you, when you break your own routine just to get attention, you're doing the same thing emotionally. You're leaking your power. Let's say you're working on your body, your finances, and your emotional healing. That takes commitment. It takes early mornings, focused evenings, and intentional time alone. Now someone shows up, mocking your progress, questioning your motives, trying to pull you back into the same distractions you've already outgrown. You can argue, you can try to convince them, or you can stay silent, smile, and keep building. That's power. That's how you protect your energy like a warrior protects his sword. There's an ancient Japanese concept called ma, the space between things. In Japanese aesthetics, ma is the pause that creates beauty. It's the silence that gives music its rhythm. It's the breath between words that makes speech meaningful. Men often think they need to fill every gap with action, but wisdom teaches us real power lies in the pause to think before reacting, the pause to reflect instead of chasing, the pause to choose progress over pettiness. You don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. You don't need to reply to every opinion about your life. Silence doesn't mean weakness. It means you're choosing what's worthy of your energy. And understand this: most people aren't listening to understand. They're listening to respond. They're not looking for truth. They're looking to feel right. And that's why silence wins, because silence can't be twisted. It can't be manipulated. Silence is clarity in action. Let me be direct. You can't build your dream while constantly trying to prove yourself. You can't reach emotional peace while entertaining emotional parasites. You can't become the man you're meant to be while trying to please everyone who fears your transformation. Focusing on yourself is not about isolation, it's about preservation. Preserve your time, preserve your energy, preserve your focus, and watch how quickly your life starts to shift. You'll notice your habits get sharper. You'll notice your confidence begins to grow from within. You'll notice how peaceful life becomes when you stop trying to control how others see you. There's a saying from ancient Chinese philosophy: those who flow as life flows know they need no other force. That means when you stop resisting distractions and start redirecting your energy inward, life starts working with you, not against you. Your silence becomes your alignment, your focus becomes your direction, and your life begins to move with power. Now let's get practical. Start small. Turn off the notifications. Journal instead of texting. Spend 30 minutes a day without your phone. Wake up and go to sleep without scrolling. Meditate, breathe, reflect before the noise of the world floods in. These may seem like small changes, but they are weapons. Weapons against the culture of distraction, weapons against mental exhaustion, weapons against being emotionally broke. And when someone asks why you've become distant, why you're not as available, why you've gone quiet, you simply smile. Because your silence isn't coldness, it's construction. You're not distant, you're developing. You're not ignoring anyone, you're finally listening to yourself. Drop a comment below. My energy is sacred. I choose where it flows. Let us know if you're ready to spend your energy like a man building an empire, not a man chasing approval. Chapter 3. The discipline of detachment. Build without broadcasting. One of the greatest shifts you'll ever make as a man is this. You stop announcing what you're building. You just build. In a world addicted to attention, silence becomes rebellion. When everyone is talking about their moves, their goals, their plans, you stay silent and focused. Not because you're hiding, but because you're growing. Detachment is not disconnection, it's discipline. It's the inner strength to say, I don't need everyone to see this version of me. I'm too focused on becoming the next one. Most people don't understand this. They confuse presence with performance. But here's the difference. Performance seeks praise. Presence seeks purpose. When you're detached from the need to be seen, your entire life changes. You stop chasing updates. You stop measuring your worth by likes or responses. You stop wondering who's noticing, and you start creating with your full heart, your full discipline, your full intention. There's power in becoming a mystery. There's power in moving in silence, letting the results speak for themselves. Because when people can't predict your every step, they can't sabotage your path. When people don't know your vision, they can't distort it with their fears. There was a young man in Thailand who wanted to become a Muay Thai fighter. He didn't post about it. He didn't tell anyone. He trained in silence. 5 in the morning, 7 days a week, eating clean, sleeping early. People thought he was antisocial. Some thought he was depressed. Others mocked his discipline. But a year later, he entered a national fight and dominated the competition. The same people who mocked him now cheered him. Why? Because results speak in a language louder than words. And more importantly, he didn't train for them. He trained for himself. This is the discipline of detachment. You don't need applause. You need alignment. You see, when you detach from outcomes, you start to enjoy the process. You're not going to the gym for compliments. You're going for consistency. You're not reading for show. You're feeding your mind. You're not saving money to show off. You're building freedom. That shift from external validation to internal purpose is what makes a man unstoppable. There's a powerful quote from the Bhagavad Gita, the ancient Indian text. You have the right to work, but never to the fruit of work. Let not the results of action be your motive. That's pure detachment. Work hard, stay silent. Let go of needing to be noticed. When you focus on the task, not the recognition, you begin to master your craft. You begin to love the grind. And eventually the world has no choice but to recognize you, not because you demanded it, but because you earned it. And understand this, not everyone will understand your silence. That's okay. Let them misinterpret. Let them wonder. You don't need to correct their assumptions. Because the version of you they once knew no longer exists. You are evolving, you are sharpening, you are becoming. Silence is often misread by the weak as disinterest. But to the strong, it's a sign of purpose. Even in Asian martial arts like Kung Fu or Tai Chi, silence is a major part of training. The master does not speak during the form. He watches, he refines, because in silence, the student becomes aware. Every breath, every motion, every posture. That's what life is like when you detach from noise. You start noticing everything. You begin to notice your own unhealthy patterns. You notice which environments energize you and which ones drain you. You become brutally honest with yourself and brutally committed to growth. This is what focusing on yourself really means. It's not just cutting people off. It's cutting off habits, thoughts, and patterns that no longer serve you. It's detoxing your life, not loudly, quietly, day by day. And while others are showing off, you're showing up. While others chase attention, you chase alignment. While others gossip, you're grinding. And over time, the difference becomes undeniable. So if you're in a season where you feel alone, don't panic. If you're building in the dark, don't doubt. Every man who ever changed his life began by stepping away from the noise and facing himself. You don't need to announce that you're healing, just heal. You don't need to prove that you've changed, just change. And when you return to the world, if you choose to, let your life be the message. Drop a comment below. I build in silence, I rise in peace. Let the world talk while you build your legacy. Chapter 4. Become so focused that peace becomes your loudest statement. At some point, every man faces a moment of truth. A moment when he asks himself, am I living for others or building for myself? That question can shake you. It can strip away your ego, but it can also set you free. You see, when a man becomes fully focused, so locked in that the noise around him fades, he doesn't need to speak loudly anymore. His peace becomes the loudest thing in the room. Think about the last time you were completely focused, not distracted, not divided, just aligned. So maybe it was during a long run, or in the gym, headphones in, sweat pouring. Maybe it was in your work, building something that finally felt right. Or maybe it was in silence, alone, reflecting, healing. That feeling, that stillness, that presence, that's where you find power, not in performance, not in attention, but in pure, focused peace. There's a powerful Japanese principle called seijaku. It means tranquility in the midst of activity. Not escape from life, but calm within life. That's what you build when you focus on yourself and stay silent. You become unbothered. Not because life is easy, but because you've mastered your response to it. You no longer react to petty things, you no longer chase people who disappeared, you no longer waste time proving your worth, because deep down you've accepted a simple truth. Real men don't need to be loud to be legendary. Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, spent more time writing to himself in silence than speaking to crowds. Miyamoto Musashi, the undefeated samurai, lived as a quiet strategist, mastering his sword and mind through isolation. Even Bruce Lee, one of the most influential martial artists in the world, said, "The successful warrior is the average man with laser-like focus." Their greatness wasn't built in applause, it was built in silence, in routine, in discipline, in doing what needed to be done without waiting for permission or praise. You don't become great by announcing every chapter of your life. You become great by writing it, day by day, word by word, breath by breath, while the world sleeps on you. That means, wake up early, no one needs to know. Hit your goals, no one needs to cheer. Stay consistent, even when it's boring. Protect your peace, especially when it's challenged. And when people start noticing, when they finally ask, "Where have you been?" just smile. Because you are building something sacred, yourself. Focusing on yourself doesn't mean you're selfish, it means you're finally serious. Serious about healing your past, serious about mastering your mind, serious about showing up as the man your future depends on. You don't need to chase closure from anyone who left. You don't need to beg for recognition from people who overlooked you. You don't need to shout your goals into the world hoping someone claps. You just need to stay focused, stay silent, and let your presence do the talking. Because the truth is, people don't respect noise, they respect results. People don't remember what you said, they remember what you became. People don't care about the struggle until the success forces them to. And by then, you'll be too far ahead to need their validation anyway. Your peace is your proof. Your silence is your strength. Your focus is your freedom. And here's one final truth you need to carry with you. Discipline is louder than drama. Peace is louder than pride. Growth is louder than gossip. So when the world tempts you to react, don't. When it pulls you into arguments, walk away. When it mocks your silence, smile. Because you're not living for applause. You're building for impact. You don't need to be seen. You need to be solid. Solid in your mind, solid in your purpose, solid in your discipline. And when the time comes, when your silence has done its job, When your focus has become unshakable, you won't need to announce your arrival. They'll feel drop a comment below. I focus. I building. I stay silent. If you're done talking and ready to evolve, let the world know you're moving in silence and rising with intention.